Russian.
I'm not really into competitive FPS games, mainly because I just never grew up with them. The first shooter games I ever played were Star Wars Battlefront, Medal of Honor, and Halo, and that stuck with me for a long time. I never thought about games like Counter-Strike or Unreal. Hell, it wasn't even until middle school that I played Call of Duty for the first time, with Black Ops 1, and it's only been over the past few years that I really went through the backlog of all the Call of Duty games. I never played Modern Warfare in its heyday, and I don't have any nostalgia for any of the old Call of Duty games. Which is why it's weird that I even wanted to play this game. A 4.5-year-old, ultra-competitive, fast-paced tactical FPS. But honestly, because I don't have any of that nostalgia, I think this game is better than Call of Duty. Alright, first things out of the way, this game is about as PC Master Race as it gets. As in, there's no Activision bullshit, great official servers and good community ones, fantastic controls, graphics that are dated but still look good, and support that lasts for 2 years. Oh, and it's also not 200 million gigabytes because it has to install Battle Royale mode that you'll touch once and forget about later. This game still has an active developer, an active player base, and a decent community that's welcome and cares for the game. Truthfully, if I didn't know any better, I'd say this game could have easily come out in 2020. But the main focus of this video, and the best thing about this game, is how it plays. Now, of course, I have my grievances with this game, most of which come down to the fact that this game doesn't do a good job of explaining anything. And actually, it does a horrible job of explaining everything. Besides the basic tutorial for the controls, everything is left for the player to figure out. And actually, the one issue I still run into are the loadouts, because I can customize them in the main menu, but in an actual game I don't get access to those. So what's the point of being able to set the loadout in the main menu? And similarly, why are the loadout points different in every single game type? And why don't loadouts from local play port over to online play? And why are some loadout options available in local play but not in online? It's just really confusing, and I ended up having to play a bunch of online games with the sole intention of figuring out a loadout, rather than actually playing for the objective. It's just really confusing, and it feels like the devs just wanted you to throw shit at the wall to figure out what sticks. And it's not just loadouts either. The same thing applies to cosmetics, menu options, game modes, maps, and other things I'm probably forgetting as well. It's actually kind of funny how I mentioned this game is very PC oriented, because that's really my complaint. There's nothing about this game that's very intuitive or easy to approach. It's very oriented to the PC gamer who's been playing first-person shooters for years. But that's also one of its biggest charms. It's not a hand-holding game. If you want to take a big sniper rifle into a tiny box map with an objective that doesn't support long-range combat, you can just do that, and the game won't punish you for it. There's no skill-based matchmaking that pulls you down, no crap leveling system that forces you to play a weapon you don't want to play, no pay-to-win skins, no stupid players that don't play for the objective, no broken weapons that are obviously better than others, and most importantly, no skill-based matchmaking. If that isn't enough to pull you down from Call of Duty, I don't know what is. And all of the things I just mentioned that this game does right are all things that me and other people hate about Call of Duty. Especially in the past few years, Call of Duty has kinda gone down the drain because there are so many issues that Activision and whatever developer worked on that specific game don't fix and seemingly don't want to fix. Meanwhile, Insurgency Sandstorm doesn't have these issues. It's all the good parts of COD with none of the bad. And on the topic of all the good parts, this game really nails everything that makes Call of Duty good. The fast-paced action, the stupidity of a small map, the movement, the weapon feel, and the voice chat.
Learn to f***ing shoot, you killed me. I don't know what he's talking about. Shut up.
And sure, it's a bit more hardcore than some of the Call of Duty games, and arguably it's more competitive too. But even somebody like me, a person who doesn't like the ultra-competitive first-person shooter games, I can still have a ton of fun in this game. Just like COD, it strikes the perfect balance between stupidity and realism. You can be hiding around a corner, trying to save your life as bullets whiz past you, and you've got both of your guns fully loaded, ready to strike as soon as that suppressive fire ceases, only to be killed by somebody crouch jumping with a suppressed 50 cal who has 10 times the amount of kills you do. It's the perfect balance between way too realistic and way too arcadey. Now, I love games that are super realistic, like Ready or Not or Onward, but after a while, I tend to get bored or frustrated with them. Oh, and on the topic of bad realistic games, I don't understand how people can like Hell Let Loose. The game is just not good. It's like a walking sim, because you'll walk for 15 minutes from the spawn point, only to die, and now you have to walk 15 And as for your arcade shooters, yeah, they're fun, but I always feel like I want more, or feel like I should just turn off the UI to get a better experience. Like Battlefield, where the games are a ton of fun, but to me lack the more hands-on nature that Insurgency Sandstorm presents. And Insurgency Sandstorm falls right into that category, where it's not frustrating to play, yet still realistic enough that you feel immersed in the fight. And yeah, it may not have the same gameplay that you once remembered the original Modern Warfare 2 to have, but this game is still amazing. I've seriously not had this much fun playing an FPS game since like Titanfall, and that's crazy given that I've put a stupid amount of hours into other FPS games since then. That being said, it's not for everybody, and I acknowledge that. It's a little bit overly competitive for some, the lack of any direction is bad for others, and the fact this game is very PC oriented is a turnoff for the rest. Especially the lack of crossplay, which Call of Duty definitely has and this game doesn't. Like seriously, it's 2023, you're still developing the game devs, you already have a crossplay system, just add PC in there too please. But honestly, even with all that, it's still one of my favorite FPS games. To me, this is what Call of Duty should be in the modern day, not the shitty cash grab it is now. If you're tired of modern Call of Duty, try this game, because it is a ton of fun.
Who the f is the seal in here?